So like many people, after securing myself some disturbingly expensive tickets to see Oasis the other weekend, I was extremely excited and buzzing to get to see the reunion between newly loving brothers Noel and Liam. And much like any self-respecting fan, after giving away their savings to see one of their favourite bands, I went on a binge of Oasis albums for a solid 5 days. And whilst on the channel we ranked albums a lot, I've never given lists of my favourite songs or artists a go. So boy, do I have a video for you today, ranking my personal 10 best Oasis songs. Emphasis on personal ranking. There's a lot of 90s Oasis, but please don't be offended if songs like Bag It Up from Dig Out Your Soul, or claim that because I don't use mucky fingers from Don't Believe the Truth, that I'm actually not an Oasis fan. So straight out the bat, like mentioned, there are too many good Oasis songs. So much like DJ Khaled, they are indeed suffering from success. And throughout my original list I had 22 songs, but only 10 made it to the top, so here are 12 honourable mentions that didn't make top 10 but could easily be on there, and I can't help myself but mention them. So if you see the blow and get angry that they aren't in the top 10, on a different day they could easily be there, depending on what side of the bed I got out of. So without further ado and that bit of passive aggressive admin out the way, let's get on with it. Now in 10th I have Wonderwall. Look, Wonderwall gets a lot of hate due to it being their most successful and well-known song, and a song that all house parties fear, as the guy who has outstayed his welcome begins to glance towards an acoustic guitar and asks, does anyone want to hear me play? Yes, that guy is me. But Wonderwall is a song that gets a lot of people into Oasis. It's been wedding songs and it's been love songs that's stuck throughout music culture since its release. Essentially it's a juggernaut of a tune and you can't deny it's actually pretty good, if you put aside your quarrels with its popularity, and it simply has to be on the list. In 9th I've got Married with Children, as it's a bit of a different style for Oasis in their early days. I love the brass bare feeling of the guitar plotted alongside Liam's vocals, combated with lyrics that are pretty harsh but all come with a sense of comedy or hilarity to them, when you've just had it with someone and decide to tell them well and truly how what a piece of work they are, and not in a nasty way, more in a reflection of the overbearing pettiness that you can feel when someone just won't change their ways. It's a drawn back Oasis song to the bare bones of what makes the band great. Good vocals, great lyrics and top notch writing. In 8 is She's Electric. Just something about this jolly jumpy tune that sounds somewhat reminiscent of various Beatles tracks that shall remain nameless, but once again it has such an Oasis stamp on it. It's remained one of my favourites since I heard it as a young lad. There's something so optimistic and inherently happy in the song, based around relationships and family, that makes She's Electric just feel like a song of celebration, dashed with some charming and cheeky lyrics, like mentioning how he fancies his girlfriend's mum and I think that she likes me. Good stuff. At 7th I have Roll With It, as it's an absolute classic staple of Oasis, with an in-your-face attitude, and Liam's vocals really set there in the higher ranges consistently, with the song never taking its foot off the pedal at a good pace throughout. And this song always makes me picture that Top of the Pops clip where Noel and Liam switched places, with Noel's bad miming and Liam's terrible fake guitar playing in protest of not being allowed to play live. At 6th I have Live Forever. Now this song will be ingrained into my brain my entire life, as it's the first song I learnt on guitar as a wee boy, and Live Forever really does feel to be at the heart of Oasis's early days, opening up with that iconic drumming pattern, with lyrics that feel epic yet somehow meandering, and a song that does feel like it can only come from youth. And whilst it had huge declarations in it, everything does feel like one big question pushed through confident naivety. Top that off with some raw young Liam vocals, stamping out Noel's lyrics, and hey presto, you've got yourself a legendary Oasis song. Halfway through the list and at 5th for me is Supersonic. Once again, it's such a signature Oasis stamp on Supersonic, but it's just leveled up from Roll With It. I mean, they even labelled that documentary Supersonic, and if you've never been absolutely pissed up, with your hands behind your back, doing a horrifically embarrassing Liam Gallagher impression on a night out while screaming, I need to be myself, I can't be no one else. My apologies for that. Well, you my friend, you've not lived. Now Half the World Away, sitting at 4th, is quite high on this list, as it's another early guitar tune I learnt when I was very young. Yet it was actually as I got older that I started to appreciate this song a bit more. For that specific time of your life when you're around 17, 18, just felt like I wanted to get away from my home city for a little bit and head off to university to gain what felt like independence and a new start to reinvent myself. And that you don't need to feel down just to get away. You sometimes realise you just need new phases in your life for various reasons, and that's okay. Now for me, you can't have a top 10 Oasis song listing without the master plan, and my list follows suit. The master plan really is fantastic, and the second you hear the opening lines of take the time to make some sense of what you want to say, it feels like you're transported to the opening credits of a James Bond film. Nay, in fact, the master plan is too good for James Bond. Okay, that's maybe a little overboard. There's something very traditionally epic in the nature of the song, and I don't mean epic like a guy doing a kickflip on a skateboard whilst playing Damn It by Blink-182 on an electric guitar. And yes, I have seen a video of that. It feels epic like the starting of a grand adventure. And taking second place for me is Don't Look Back in Anger. Now, Don't Look Back in Anger to me truly is a fantastic song, about realising you can push aside your feelings for the cause of something better, and whilst reflection is good, it's maybe best done at a later point. And there's nothing quite like blasting out the chorus screaming "So Sally Can Wait" with thousands of other people. But for me, this song took a bit of a turn and truly gut punches me in an emotional aspect after the tragic events that happened in Manchester back in 2017. I'll never forget after seeing the crowds gather in Manchester as a form of healing at memorials in an absolutely silent city centre. Someone started singing "Don't Look Back in Anger" till a huge crowd of people were then singing the same song and embracing each other. "Don't Look Back in Anger" is a song I'd heard my entire life, but it changed for me from that point since. I can't hear it without slightly getting upset or tearing up and being sent straight back to that year. As someone who grew up as a kid in the north of England loving music, and especially seeing live music at the theatre or gigs with my parents and brothers and sisters, it's something everyone deserves to have access to growing up in a safe environment. And personally, I just can't detach that emotional connection now, and I don't think I ever will. And I'll always appreciate how this song brought so many people together in such a time of need. And that's why it sits at Oasis' second best song for me, as something more than just a truly fantastic tune. Now, as the king of all Oasis songs for me is Morning Glory. For me, Morning Glory, the song, Get Your Minds Out of the Gutter, captures the true essence of Oasis. From the very second you hear those screeching guitar tones and helicopter ambiances blasting in your ears, straight into the guitar riffs, and then taken over by the tequila shots that are Liam's grating vocals, screaming about being chained to a mirror with a razor blade or something, and walking to the sound of your favourite tunes on a sunny afternoon, this is the perfect encapsulation of what Oasis is. It's rough, yet it's perfected. It's loud and overwhelming, but encapsulating. You can't just help but get involved and enjoy. Morning Glory is so well-rounded as a staple of Oasis. It provides every flavour needed, from instrumental to vocal to writing, to give you what you need to experience. And often after listening, feels like I've just been fed 10 shots of vodka and then blasted in the face with an air cannon, if that makes sense. As Morning Glory feels like an event and the start of a journey you're about to go on, and boy, what a journey it is. And you can just tell it's going to be absolutely mental. So there is my personal list of Oasis's 10 best songs, and I'm sure there'll be disagreements with how on earth I put some songs higher than others. Are you insane? Do you even have a brain? But realistically, this is my personal list, which is subject to change depending on how early I've had my coffee in the morning. So be sure to drop your 10 favourite Oasis songs ranked in the comments below, and enjoy telling me how wrong my list is. Yet as always, take care out there. I'll see you on the next one, and ta-ra for now. As always, if you're new here, feel free to like and subscribe. And on that note, I think I'll say ta-ra for now, and I'll see you later.